special welcome to this very special event, your graduation from the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. I am Dr. Susan Hansen, the Interim Associate Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs, and on behalf of everyone here, welcome to today's ceremony. Would you please remove your hats for the singing of the national anthem, led today by Benjamin Warren. Please be seated. Today you become part of another special family, that being the UW-Platteville alumni. This is the 202nd Commencement ceremony at UW-Platteville, where more than 57,000 graduates have earned their diplomas. Congratulations to all of our candidates here today. Throughout the day, we will salute graduates of the College of Engineering, Mathematics, and Science, College of Liberal Arts and Education, College of Business, Industry, Life Science, and Agriculture. Yesterday, the ceremony for the School of Business and the School of Graduate Studies took place. In all, we have 1,054 undergraduates and 128 graduates in the 4 ceremonies. As for today's ceremony, we will hear words of encouragement and congratulations from our student speaker, our principal speaker, and our chancellor. We will then recognize some special people and finally present the candidates for graduation. Each commencement, a student speaker is chosen to represent the graduating seniors. This year's speaker is Sherry Hines Kunert. Sherry is a native of Madoe-Medi, Minnesota, is majoring in chemistry and will be attending graduate school at the University of Illinois at Chicago. She will be pursuing a PhD in physical computational chemistry. Sherry has been involved in undergraduate research projects at UW-Platteville and Virginia Tech. At Virginia Tech, she attended a program funded by the National Science Foundation, where she researched polymer synthesis for wastewater treatment applications. At UW-Platteville, her research has been focused on creating polyelectrolyte nanofilms. In addition to her academic success, she has been active at the UW-Platteville Women in STEM Mentor Program and the president of the Alchemist Club. Please welcome Sherry.
Hello, everyone. It is with great pleasure to be standing before everyone here as the 2019 EMS Commencement Speaker. Again, my name is Sherry Hines Kunert, and I am a chemistry major. Yes, you heard that right. I am not an engineer. Believe it or not, we actually have more degrees than engineering at this school, contrary to belief. Now, I have to admit, it is a bit strange standing up here because it feels as though no time has passed since my very first day at UW-Platteville, and I'm sure that many of my fellow graduating peers can agree with me on that one. I like to think of my undergraduate journey as hiking up a mountain. Before you start climbing, you look up at your path, which for most of us was a bit obscure and overwhelming, and maybe a little intimidating too. I want everyone to think during my speech and reflect on their time at UW-Platteville. What did you have to overcome to be where you are sitting today? Who was there for you along the way when you fell and you needed to be picked up, or needed guidance when you strayed off the path? For most of us, before classes even began, we moved into dorms. And I can still remember my first day moving into the dorms, which was Dobson Hall, where I met a lot of my great friends. But the thing I remember most is the look on my dad's face when he looked at all of the stuff that was supposed to go in my dorm room and all of my roommate's stuff. It was like trying to fit a department store into a shoebox, nearly impossible. And even worse than that, we had to try to figure out how to loft the beds, which is an adventure on your own if you can remember. And I know everyone sitting in front of me probably has similar funny stories that they can share with their family as well. And speaking of families, I think now is an appropriate time to say thank you to all the families who supported us along the journey to where we are here today. I especially want to say thank you to my dad, who I could not be here without his guidance through my life. Your support to us means the world, whether that be a text message, a phone call, care packages, or visiting. We definitely could not have been here without you today. Now, getting back to my speech, once our shoe boxes were filled, we had to leave our families, say goodbye, and venture off for the first times in our lives. Naturally, I, and like everyone else, felt a bit alone and lost in the beginning. For me, it was hard to see what opportunities awaited me at the top of the mountain when I was only at the base. And although everyone took their own unique path up the mountain, we all made friends along the way who were going through the same triumphs and challenges. For me, this person is my best friend Cole. No matter how many times we fell, separately or together, we were always there for each other to get back on our feet. Unless he slept through our 8 a.m. lab on Tuesdays and Thursdays sophomore year, then I was all alone. In addition to friends, UWP has supplied us with excellent navigators. The faculty and the staff acted as our compasses to help us guide us back to the right path when we strayed. At this point, I'd like to acknowledge my academic advisor, Dr. Shoma Chattopadhyay, for the insight she gave me all these years to better my future. I truly would have been lost without you, and I thank you so much. As I mentioned earlier, it is impossible to know every twist and turn of your trail from the bottom, and changing majors is entirely possible, or realizing that your ETA to the top may have taken longer than you originally expected. Regardless, we could always rely on our advisors, faculty, family, and friends to help us through these difficult times. And of course, the path can be blocked with more unforeseen challenges, whether that be a specific class, maybe Calc 2, I see a lot of orange tassels for engineering, so I know most of you took it, or something else going on in life. And if I have learned anything the past 4 years, it is to not let anyone or thing keep you from reaching the top. Continue moving forward and accelerate toward the future that you envision for yourself. Although I have faced many of these moments, maybe the most memorable one was my freshman year. It was my very first final of college for my trig class, and I had my note cards, a day's worth of studying, and a full thermos full of coffee. And I thought, hey, I'm gonna show up 30 minutes early to be ahead of the game so I know where I'm going. So when I walked into engineering hall where my final was, all my confidence pretty much shattered to the floor when I saw my professor standing there collecting the exams of the students finishing the exam I was supposed to be taking. No, I was not 30 minutes early, I was an hour and 30 minutes late. Yeah. So naturally, I started crying because what do, right? And I always thought, my life is over, they're gonna throw me out, I'm gonna get an F, they're gonna put me on academic probation, and I was freaking out. And then my professor, who came up to me, because she knew me and it was an honest mistake, and far from my character, She allowed me to take it later that day in her office, and I totally thank her for that, and I will never forget this moment as it was really the first major bump in my journey up. But enough about how hard the journey was. Let's talk about how amazing it was. As you make your way up to the top, it is always important to enjoy your journey and learn from everything along the way. Enjoy the people, places, insight, and knowledge you have gained along the way. From the bottom, it's hard to see what the future holds, but as you go up in elevation, you start to see the horizon, what the future could hold for you. And now that we have finally reached the top of the mountain, sitting here ready to graduate, we can finally see what is in our future, because we can see in all directions around thanks to UW-Platteville. Whether that future may be a gap year for travel, employment, or graduate school, a new journey awaits us all. You should all be incredibly proud of yourselves for this amazing capstone in your life. I know I am very excited for my future. However, it is going to be a bittersweet moment leaving Platteville. I will miss the personal connections I made with friends and faculty. I will miss how UW-Platteville is small enough to be able to wave to someone on your way to your next class, but big enough where you're still meeting new people every semester. It will be strange not returning in the fall to see fireworks shoot from the world's largest M and going to Downa to get my stack of books, sweating, and it is this tall. But we will always remain pioneers at heart, regardless of where our next path takes us in life. With that, I want to finally say one last congratulations to the graduating class of 2019, and good luck on your future directions and endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. Today's principal speaker is Wayne Byer. After earning an electrical engineering degree at UW-Platteville in 1993, Wayne has been conducting research and serving as an engineer at Kimberly-Clark Corporation in Neenah, Wisconsin. He's currently a senior engineer, project leader, and UW-Platteville campus recruiting liaison. Wayne has experience in leadership, project coordination, design, and implementation. As a senior engineer, he provides project leadership within the adult feminine care team to deliver cost savings and product performance improvements. He also mentors junior team members to improve leadership and personal skills. As a recruiting liaison between Kimberly-Clark and UW-Platteville, he brings the company's visibility to students and staff on campus through targeted programs and partnership development. He's created recruiting strategies, yearly plans, and goals for campus activities. Wayne received his MBA from UW-Oshkosh in 2005. He also attended the U.S. Navy Electronics and Nuclear Propulsion Schools from 1983 to 1984. He served in the U.S. Navy as an electronics technician, reactor operator, and achieved the rank of first class petty officer. Please welcome Wayne Byer.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you for giving me the honor of speaking with you today. Now, as a UW-Platteville alumni, I think back to the day when I was in your exact position at graduation in this exact building on the eve of my journey. I was really excited to graduate and start working. I'd been on the 5-year college plan, had completed 2 co-op terms, and had a full-time job waiting for me in South Carolina. Soon after graduation, I loaded up a white and orange U-Haul truck with all my belongings in cardboard boxes, some hand-me-down furniture from my parents, and behind it in tow, my big brown 1982 Buick LeSabre with cushy seats, white wall tires, and 120,000 miles on the odometer. The next day I hit the road, Buick in tow, all the way to South Carolina. A few days after that, I started my job with Kimberly-Clark, making Huggies diapers. Now that was 26 years ago, and the journey has not ended yet. Since then, marriage, 2 daughters, another move across the country, new roles, new hobbies, and new adventures. Now, speaking of journeys, I'd like to take you on a mind journey, just for a few minutes. I'm a U.S. Navy veteran, and I like ships, so we're going to take a journey on a ship. I'd like each of you to imagine you're the captain of a ship back in the era of sailing ships. So in your mind, picture your ship tied to the pier. Now, is your ship a big two-masted schooner with billowing sails? Or maybe it's a three-masted Portuguese caravel, or maybe even a Chinese junk. And your ship should have a name. I'd like you to think of one. Mine is going to be called the Rocinante. Smell the salty air, hear the lap of the waves against the ship's hull, and hear the squawk of the diving seagulls nearby as they're looking for their next meal. And I see your crew here. They're making preparations for your journey. And what a crew. They're loyal, skilled, and I think I might even smell them. This is a few centuries ago, you know. And now finally the big day comes. The gangplank is pulled back, the mooring lines are cast off, and the boatswain's mate yells, "Underway!" Okay, captains, where are you off to now? Well, maybe it's somewhere very specific. A trade route to the Indian Ocean to trade for spices and textiles. Could be you're following the coastline or island hopping to trade in natural resources. Perhaps you're off to explore somewhere, a new passage or a new land. In either case, you do rely on your ship to keep you safe, to carry your precious cargo and your crew. So what is in common between each of our ships that we've imagined? Something that's really, really important for a safe journey. Well, hopefully you're thinking stability. And what provides stability? Well, each of our ships has a strong hull to keep water out and protect the crew and cargo, a sail to propel the ship, a rudder to help steer the way, and yes, that skilled crew. And what happens if our ship is not stable? A weak hull can't support the mast, sails too large or too small make your ship unstable or too slow. A small rudder doesn't allow you to respond to the changing wind or the captain's orders. And a green crew might make critical mistakes. So for a stable ship, all these things must be sized appropriately to ensure optimal performance, whether you're on the smooth crystal blue waters of the Caribbean or the rough and stormy seas of the North Atlantic in November. Now, as STEM graduates, we all have an idea about stability, or maybe I should say instability, in our professional fields of study. And instability isn't really such a great thing. For the MEs, you're probably thinking about some uncontrolled release of energy. For the double E's, I think the poles might be in the right-hand side of the plane. The IEs could be a shift of more than 3 standard deviations. The engineering physics graduates are thinking about nuclear decay, and the computer science majors all dread the blue screen of death. And finally, the chemistry majors, I simply say, boom. So what does this all have to do with us here today? Well, in my mind, the answer is quite simple. Each of you are a captain about to embark on a journey. That journey starts after today, whether you're off to a new job, off to graduate school, or maybe a well-deserved summer break. The precious cargo that your ship carries is your knowledge that you've developed up to this time. And each one of you has immense value and potential because of that knowledge. Now, the things I spoke of that provide stability on this journey, the sails, the rudder, the hull, the crew, these are all equivalents to things that I've found are important to maintain some sense of stability in my life's journey. And I think stability and balance are important and worth talking about today. Now, this might be better known as work-life balance to some, but I think there's more to it than that. I think of this as life balance. And maintaining stability and balance in life is not always easy, and I'll be the first to admit that. There's always some give and take in the short term, but in the long term, stability and balance are important. So why do I bring this topic up today? Well, honestly, in the past, I've been out of balance, way out of balance in some cases. You see, I made a choice to bring my work home most nights of the week, and I worked until 11 p.m. or later quite frequently. And this wasn't for a few weeks, but for years. And it really wasn't such a good place to be. It impacted my relationship with my family and my health. But there were people that helped me see that, and I realized it too with time. And I, being the captain of my own ship, had the power to make adjustments and bring my life back into balance and make it stable, which I did. And I'm sure the same can apply to each of you also if you find yourself in a similar situation. Some of you are thinking, well, what needs to be in balance? Well, I believe it's 4 things. Number 1, our work time. Number 2, our family and friend time. Number 3, personal time. And number 4, community time. And what does that mean to me? Well, our work time, number 1. Our jobs are important. They provide an income and satisfaction to us. Now, you've all studied hard. You worked hard to earn your degree, and I'm sure you will work diligently to establish your career. And by all means, do that. Fully engage in your new job with a sense of purpose and hunger. Learn new things, take on new roles, and set lofty goals. But with time, I've realized one thing. I've realized that my job and accomplishments on it do not fully define who I am. My job cannot take up most of my waking hours. There is more to life than work. Number 2, family and friends. They provide us a sense of stability and happiness, and maybe even a little drama every now and then. My family keeps me grounded. They offer me a sense of purpose as I provide for them, and they give me lots and lots of great shared experiences and memories. And the same holds true for my friends. I cannot imagine not having time with them. Number 3, the need for personal time for each of us cannot be underestimated. While here in college years ago, my brother Paul frequently reminded me that I needed to take at least an hour every day for me time to relax, work on a hobby, exercise, and do something I really wanted to do, not something I needed to do. I tell you today, you need to take that time to pursue a hobby, learn a new skill, or simply recharge yourself. And number 4, community time. Now, it can be easily overlooked the importance of giving back, helping others, and being active in the community. Find time to volunteer for a cause that you believe in. Be active and celebrate with others at your place of worship, or consider joining a civic organization. These types of activities are fulfilling to me on my journey, and I believe can be fulfilling for you also. Now, we've talked about some really important things that are needed for our safe journey, but there's one more critical item that we've not considered, and that's navigation. So as captains, what is one way that captains navigated in the open ocean years ago? Of course, by the sun and the stars. And what is the equivalent to those guiding stars on our life's journey today? Those entities that provide some sense of direction in our lives and help guide us when it's dark, maybe when we're a little bit lost, kind of a North Star, if you will. Well, in my life, I've had several stars to help guide me along the way. And honestly, a few times, I didn't even realize there were stars until I looked back on past parts of my journey. And who are my stars? Those people that had an impact on me and gave me direction? Well, obviously, my parents. They guided me early on. While in the U.S. Navy, it was Chief Chappell. He was one of my leaders. He always looked out for his team. He had our backs. But he also set very high expectations for us all. There was Art, the engineer that challenged me to really consider what I was capable of. The person that helped me see I could be an electrical engineer. There was Russ, a technical leader, the man that took the time to mentor me. He provided me opportunities and taught me to be an engineer. And Ed, the man that selflessly volunteers at church. He cares daily for his elderly mother, but yet he still finds time to sponsor and visit several teens in a Bolivian orphanage. And finally, my wife, Linda, my co-pilot that has helped me sail through smooth seas and rough seas. These are some of my stars who have helped guide me on my journey. And I ask each of you, who are your stars? Are they shiny and obvious? Or maybe they're hiding in plain sight, and you just haven't seen them yet. And I'm sure each of you has a few if you look for them. So there you have it, a few things to consider as each of you gets ready to embark on the next leg of your journey. Leaving Platteville in a few days, each of you will go on your own magnificent journey, using your skills, your knowledge, and your personal drive to do great things in your own way. Now, as captains, be mindful of your ship and crew, how you allocate your time. Strive to develop and maintain things in balance, and recognize when they are not. And remember, keep an eye out for those stars. So in closing, calm seas and fair winds to each of you, and Good luck on each of your magnificent journeys ahead of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne, for inspiring us to watch the stars. I now ask that Dan Smith, President of the Alumni Association Board of Directors, come forward to present the Alumni Lifetime Memberships.
Thank you, Dr. Hanson. By graduating here today, you are now part of a special group, UW-Platteville alumni. And you're not alone. I now ask all UW-Platteville alumni in the audience to please stand and be recognized. I, along with the alumni here today, would officially like to welcome you, the class of 2019, as UW-Platteville alumni. The UW-Platteville Alumni Association annually recognizes outstanding graduates with the Honorary Lifetime Pioneer Award by awarding them lifetime membership in the Alumni Association. The award is based on a variety of criteria, including campus activities and leadership, community involvement, professional development and employment, academic excellence, and the probability of future involvement in the Alumni Association. I ask the following graduate to stand and be recognized as the College of EMS Alumni Association membership recipient, Bethany Jensen. Congratulations, Bethany.
Thank you, Dan. Dennis J. Shields has been the University of Wisconsin-Platteville Chancellor since 2010. And during that time, he has led the university to tremendous growth in students, programs, and facilities. Most recently, he piloted an impressive effort to gain the legislative and gubernatorial approval to build a $55 million state-of-the-art engineering facility on the campus, as well as a $23.7 million renovation project for Babel Hall. These two projects, plus the $15.3 million Williams Fieldhouse expansion, will give UW-Platteville more than $93 million in upcoming growth and improvements that will transform the campus. An Iowa native, Chancellor Shields earned his undergraduate degree in business administration from Graceland College in 1977 and his Juris Doctor from the University of Iowa College of Law in 1982. Immediately prior to becoming chancellor at UW-Platteville, he served as acting vice president of student affairs at the City College of New York, City University of New York. He has held administrative positions at the Phoenix School of Law, Duke University School of Law, the University of Michigan Law School, and the University of Iowa. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chancellor Dennis J. Shields.
Before I start on my prepared remarks, there's three things I want to bring up, specifically for the graduates. They read that list of stuff that I was supposed to have done. One of the things I think every one of us has to acknowledge that none of that stuff happens surely because of something that we're doing. There are a lot of people who contributed to the accomplishments that have taken place on this campus. I just happen to be the one standing here they give the credit to. Most recently, the faculty of EMS has spent a lot of time developing the planning for our Sesquicentennial Hall, and it's going to be a remarkable facility as a result of their efforts. Second thing I want to mention is there are a couple of people missing from this ceremony, and I'd like to make sure that we acknowledge their contributions and be aware of them. Number one is Dr. Joanne Wilson, a member of your faculty, who's been here, I think, almost 34 years, served in many, many different roles. Currently is the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs and the Provost. She's not here today because she's a little under the weather. She'll be fine. But this is one of her favorite events, and she's missed, and I want to tell you that she's missed. The third person is Dean Molly Grimm, who has a much bigger challenge in front of her. And I think our thoughts and prayers need to be with her as she gets through this. For those of you young women who are graduating as engineers, those are two people that are exemplars that of leadership have risen. One, a long career in one place, and one who's moved around, but is making a difference and cares about what happens with students. So I wanted to mention those two people. And finally, Wing Bayer is an exemplar of the alums that come and speak at these commencement exercises. There's two others this weekend. Later on, I'm going to ask you to be involved with your communities. What they're doing to come back and spend time on campus, put in the hours of work to put together a quality speech, speaks to the passion they have for this institution, and I just want them to know that I acknowledge that. So, now the rest. Good afternoon. That's pretty good. Okay. It is really a pleasure to be here to honor the class of 2019 here at the University of Wisconsin-Platteville and the graduates of engineering, mathematics, and science. Congratulations to all our graduates. To the friends and family and faculty and others who've supported these students during their time at Platteville and before, thank you. Your teaching, your support, your assistance, and your belief that they had the potential to grow made a significant contribution to the ability of these graduates to enjoy this achievement today. Graduates, during your college career, you have accomplished great things and are now ready to go out into the world. Well done. You deserve this recognition. So, I'm going to do what everybody else is doing. I'm going to offer you a little advice. It's going to be kind of succinct what I'm going to tell you, and then I'll go into it. My advice is to keep learning. When you leave here, continue to learn new things and to build your skills, just like you did during your time at this university. And I am confident if you do this, you will be able to make a positive impact on the world at large. During the course of your lives, your work worlds will evolve and change. And as a pioneer, you will be able to thrive in this environment if you are committed to acquiring new knowledge and insight as you go along. And there's no doubt, no matter where you go from here, that you will encounter people whose life experiences are completely different from your own. Your willingness to learn and be open to new cultures and ideas will be essential to your ability to thrive in the diverse world that awaits you. Now, I know that we're all products of our environment, of the communities where we were raised and the schools we have attended. And it is also true that we can be limited by these environments because we grow accustomed to thinking about things a certain way in conjunction with people around us who have all had similar life experiences and hold similar beliefs. And so, there are things that we don't know because we haven't been exposed to them. Today, we live in a global environment, even here close to home. Over the past several years in my role as chancellor, I have visited more than 100 businesses in Southwest Wisconsin, and nearly all of them are doing business globally. They either acquire raw materials and services from global suppliers, or they sell their products around the world. Additionally, we now live together locally with friends, neighbors, co-workers who have varied backgrounds that are different from our own. And it's easy to notice that as a society, we have become very polarized and so caught up in the concept of winning that we often are unable to listen to each other, and therefore sometimes we struggle to find common ground with the people we do not know. Dr. David Bornstein, founder of Solutions Journalism Network, which focuses on reporting about responses to social problems, recently argued in the New York Times that the most important thing is to be able to hear and acknowledge each other's stories. And we can do this without agreeing on exactly what happened or, and this is key, agreeing on whose fault or responsibility it is. Brene Brown, in her Netflix special on courage and vulnerability, talks about how good results come out of the willingness to have difficult conversations. Brown thinks that we need to stop talking about each other and start talking to each other, something that many of us may find hard to do at some point in time or another. But if we make a habit to talk to each other, we can learn more about each other. We can ask better questions, we can listen more effectively, have productive conversations, and find solutions that work for everyone. Now today, graduates, I understand you might think, man, you've done a lot of learning. And you may think you've learned everything you need to know. But today I'm asking you to commit to keep learning, especially when your strongly held views are called into question. I'm asking you that you welcome the opportunity to learn new things and be willing to listen to new perspectives. Sometimes you'll end up changing your mind, and sometimes you won't. And it will probably require you occasionally to have uncomfortable conversations, conversations that may get worse before they get better. But they will get better, and enable you to contribute to the creation of solutions that will make positive differences. Now, I know this from a personal perspective. Like many of you, I grew up in a rural area, happened to be Iowa instead of Wisconsin. And from ages 7 to 11, I lived in a town of about 1,500. And this was in the mid-1960s during the height of the Civil Rights Movement and a time of great turmoil in our society. I was a foster kid, and I lived with the only black family in the county. I was fortunate to attend good schools with fine teachers. But my experience was different from my peers because I was African American. My foster father, Dr. Robert Carney, was from Ohio, and his wife was from Connecticut. Dr. and Mrs. Carney attended college, and he attended medical school in the segregated South in the mid-1950s. While I lived with the family, we would travel every summer to their hometowns in Ohio and New York. And those trips introduced me to their college and medical school classmates along the way. I've reflected back on this, and I realized those summer journeys were learning experiences for me. The people I met and the experiences I had showed me an African American community of high achievement. What I learned impacted me so much that I made it a point to name my two oldest sons after black scientists, George Washington Carver and Percy LaVaughn Julian. Furthermore, because the doctor and his wife had experienced segregation personally, they observed and engaged in the civil rights movement in a more personal way than most of my friends and peers and their families in rural Iowa. So, as a result, even at a young age, I was aware that people had different views, different perspectives, and different life experiences. But I also knew that the values that were important to my Iowa friends and family were the same kinds of values held by people in other parts of the country. And I knew that it was possible to learn about the experiences of others without thinking less of myself or the place I was from or the people who lived there. I am eternally grateful for my great school experience in Iowa, for my foster family, and for the families that lived in my town. Now, I'm sure that if you follow even a little bit of my advice to keep learning, you will be able to adapt to new circumstances, interact with a broad range of people, and maintain confidence in the idea that you can always find a way to succeed. I want to be clear about something. I'm not asking you to compromise your values or to change your opinion about what you think is important, but I am asking that you be open to the perspectives of others and to create opportunities for consensus. You are pioneers, and therefore you have the capacity to have a positive impact on the communities that you choose to live in. In closing, as I ask every graduating class, please engage your communities, and I mean that literally. Serve on a school board or on the city council, volunteer at a nonprofit or a church, coach a youth sports program, or become a mentor. Do things that make life better for those around you. By doing so, you will achieve two things. You will promote the well-being of your community and provide yourself the opportunity to learn about others. As the pioneers who have come before you, you will have a powerful impact in the world. Your alma mater has great confidence in you. And I know that when you walk out of these doors today, you have the power to make every day a great day to be a pioneer. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chancellor. You may wonder what the different colored stoles and cords are that some of our graduates wear. Our international students wear white flag stoles featuring the United States flag and the flags of their home countries. UW-Platteville students who have studied abroad wear stoles featuring the flags of the countries where they studied. Clubs, organizations, and honor societies have also bestowed different color stoles and pins on their graduates, representing the additional extracurricular and high-impact practice learning. I call special attention to those wearing gold honor cords. These gold cords are worn by students who have received academic honors. Students with honors are also designated with asterisks in the commencement program. We are going to recognize our honor students now. Each year, the colleges recognizes our valedictorians, students with a high grade point average, as well as outstanding accomplishments. For the College of Engineering, Mathematics, and Science, we ask that the 2019 valedictorian Lane Kathleen Greenwood stand. Congratulations. Will the individuals who are graduating magna cum laude please rise? These students have earned cumulative grade point averages above 3.5. Congratulations to our magna cum laude graduates. You may be seated. Now will the students earning highest honors and are graduating summa cum laude please stand. These students have earned cumulative grade point averages between 3.75 and 4.0. Please join me in congratulating the summa cum laude graduates. Thank you, and please be seated. Each faculty member has a different style of gown and accessories depending on his or her field and level of education. For a PhD, the hood is large, colorful, and has a silk patch and a velvet patch. The silk patch is the colors of the institution that gave the degree, and the velvet tells you what kind of degree it is. The doctoral gown has a velvet stripe that extends down the front, as well as 3 black velvet stripes across the sleeves. For the master's degree, the hood is the same length as the doctor's hood, but does not fully expose the lining, and the velvet edge is not as wide. Faculty and staff wear the color of the institution that granted the highest degree they've been awarded. Please join me in recognizing our faculty. And now, all of the individuals who are candidates for bachelor's degrees, please stand. Chancellor Shields, as Interim Associate Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs and as directed by the university faculty, I certify that the individuals standing before you are candidates for the Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science, and upon completion of the prescribed curricula are entitled to receive the degrees from the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. I therefore recommend that these candidates be granted the appropriate diplomas for the curricula completed.
Upon this certification by the Interim Associate Vice Chancellor and with the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the University of Wisconsin System, I am pleased to confer upon you the degree that you have earned together with all the rights and privileges attending thereto.
And now, undergraduates, please take your tassel and move it from the right to the left of your mortarboard, as you are now a UW-Platteville graduate. Please be seated as we begin the awarding of individual degrees. We know this is an exciting time, but I ask that everyone show respect for the graduates and for those seated near you. All here are anxious to hear the name of their own graduate, so please refrain from excessive celebration or using artificial noisemakers. Assistant Registrar Kimberly Jasper will read the names of the candidates. I ask that Dr. Philip Parker, Associate Dean of the College of Engineering, Mathematics, and Science, to come forward.
Graduates, on behalf of Dean Molly Gribb and myself, I offer you our heartiest congratulations for your perseverance and for a job well done. Chancellor Shields and Dr. Hanson, as Associate Dean of the College of Engineering, Mathematics, and Science, I present to you the candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Science. Candidates, please begin coming forward.
Sherry Lindsay Hines Kunert. Michael Anthony Abel II. Joshua O. Afolabi. Michaela C. Akins. Mohammed Abdullah Al-Malki. Angela Marie Andes. Zachary James Angelakos. Mitchell S. Asher. Daniel Akel. Austin E. Oftermauer. Hunter T. Babbage. Jake Jeffrey Baker. April Nicole Barr. Aaron P. Bauer. Ander C. Bauman. Abigail Elise Bendorf. Brooke Catherine Bennett. Selva Bacuri. David Lee Byer. Zachary D. Byer. Michael D. Bierman. Brandon Isoya Birch. Alex M. Bisbach. Jordan L. Blood. Jared T. Bloomfield. Brandon Joseph Boer. Nathan A. Brackeveld. Calvin Christopher Bryce. Taylor Lene Brown. Robert F. Brunker. Nathan John Berge. Matthew T. Burgess. Colin W. Burr. Michael A. Campbell, Jr. Emily Teresa Carbaugh. Michael D. Carr. Zachary Michael Karstensen. Jeremy D. Chislevich. Heather Lynn Seahack. Alexander D. Clausen. Kelly Regan Clinton. Nathaniel R. Kokenauer. Lucas Lloyd Coleman. Benjamin F. Cooksey IV. Kian J. Costia. Christopher John Coda. Weston A. DeConey. Blake Dante Derrickson. Eric L. Devine. Matthew Dowell. Joshua Drew. Adam Thomas Engelbrecht. Connor R. Evans. Justin T. Feldner. Henry E. Fulersky. Cameron J. Freund. Drew Michael Galetka. Andrew T. Gantenbein. Joseph D. Garrettson. Gabrielle C. Geschke. Andrew M. Giddings. Jordan V. Gillette. Luke Charles Gavoina. Daniel Joseph Glomsky. Daniel L. Gannat. Jesse James Gottsacker. Tyler J. Grawl. Kylie J. Greenheck. Lane K. Greenwood. Adi E. Griffith. Matthew S. Grolmond. Andrew James Grumbles. Logan W. Hammer. Nicholas James Harris. Robert M. Hebel. Anthony Hines. Jacob T. Helgerson. Shane C. Hendricks. Morgan Huntington Huvelman. Kyle James Haywood. Ryan John Hildebrandt. Joe Hipsky. Matthew J. Hodgson. Tanner P. Herder. Christian G. Holdener. Brandon N. Howard. Brian J. Hunter. Nathan R. Jasinski. Anthony Scott Jensen. Bethany M. Jensen. Kelvin J. Johnson. Luke Aaron Johnson. Cody A. Cabus. Christopher Todd Kennedy. Natalie Rose Kesnick. Blake Matthew Ketter. Aburu Kadka. Samuel Kisting. Christopher M. Clayman. Liam W. Klotzbach. Nathan A. Kluzakowski. Nicholas E. Klussmeyer. Rebecca Wendy Cobley. Spencer Robert Koch. Bradley D. Cron. Samuel Henry Conitzer. Austin A. Krewald. Brooke Krupe. Rhett James Kriskowski. Cameron R. Kurtz. Chance W. Krushak. Colby L. Lackey. Raj Kumar Lama. Luke J. Lana. Eric J. Lang. Zachary N. Lee. Tyler J. Leffelholtz. Gavin V. Loescher. Derek Ryan Lubecki. Samantha E. Lutz. Shinny Liu. Jake L. Merrick. Jesse Charles Markroff. David B. Marola. Brett A. Marshall. Rachel T. Martin. Haley C. Mayer. Riley Ray McCready. Nathan P. McNally. Benjamin P. Main. Elizabeth Ann Melberg. Gregory David Mahalski. Lucas S. Miller. Hayden Edgar Milligan. Alexandra Nicole Lynn Mines. Tyler Irvan Minton. Colin P. Mitchell. Caleb A. Morris. Caton D. Moser. Keegan Thomas Motquin. Gino A. Miller. Joshua D. Munoz. Samantha Renee Murphy. Bailey K. Myrick. Dylan J. Neusser. Riley A. Neuser. Adam E. Nielsen. Nicholas W. Nielsen. Mitchell R. Noreen. Connor Joseph Novotny. Christian Ortiz. Jacob Ryan Ostring. Emily M. Ott. Alexander J. Owens. Austin R. Owens. Brayton Scott Palmer. Philip D. Patakos. Nicholas C. Paul. Zachary O. Perzik. Sean R. Pyle. Colton G. Pino. Morgan Justice Pinzer. Amanda Ray Plachinsky. Anton J. Pohl. Zachary Arthur Pollard. Samuel T. Porter. Emily L. Pospical. Brent Richard Percival. Elliot G. Rand. Brooke Leanne Reichert. Jeffrey B. Reinholz. Todd A. Remter. Austin M. Rendon. Carlos Gabriel Reyes Rodriguez. Brogan L. Richardson. Brandon James Richter. Anna Elizabeth Riedel. Bailey E. Rockwood. Matthew J. Rohde. David Rohr. Gus H. Rundy. Anthony Arash Samimi. Dakota T. Sanchez. Michelle Elizabeth Scatina. Richard J. Schiller. Jordan Marie Shimke. Andrew E. Schleicher. Jarrett Allen Schneer. Alec Joseph Schulting. Melody Elizabeth Schultz. Sarah Michelle Schofield. Vince Isaac Seeley. Maxwell T. Semro. Nathan Allen Shannon. Benjamin D. Shoup. Paul S. Schuler. Alicia Ann Simons. Matthew Adam Smeester. Mason J. Spang. Andrew D. Split. Andrew J. Stack. Wyatt Maurice Steiner. Troy Ben Steinfest. Summer Joan Sternitsky. Alexander M. Stoll. Brent E. Strand. Jeffrey Thor Sati. Andrew C. Swanson. Levon I. Swenson. Mark Damon Samansky. Madeline Irene Tate. Ethan C. Tillier. Morsatong Tao. Chloe L. Thomas. Michael A. Thomas. Evan Casey Thorpe. Michael John Timblin. Nicholas Edward Tomlinson. Ryan Austin Truen. Austin A. Turner. Caleb D. Turner. Brian William Tuttle. Gabriel Valenzuela. Ryan Van Slightman. Owen J. Vey. Aaron Lewis Victor. Trenton Allen Vielbig. Bailey C. Vogt. Benjamin Francis Wadzinski. Jared E. Weberpaul. Luke J. Wedewer. Grant R. Wedepole. Matthew R. Wendling. Brian C. Whitenack. Anne Marie Wilcox. Alexander H. Wilmans. Jason D. Witt. Emily R. Woodford. David Yang. Hazem A.F. Yunus. Thomas H. Zander. Logan A. Zastro.
On behalf of the College of Engineering, Mathematics, and Science and the University of Wisconsin-Platteville, congratulations. Putting together this ceremony takes considerable work, much of it behind the scenes. Thank you to the following: the Commencement Committee led by Ian Dreger, Commencement Marshal, Dr. Chi Yang of the Department of Computer Science and Software Engineering, Assistant Registrar Kimberly Jesper, who read the names, student ambassadors who served as ushers, the Symphony Band for the music, Media Technology Services, and the Division of University Relations. For all those just mentioned who helped with the production of today's ceremony, please rise and be recognized. Sitting in front of the stage is a group who has taught and advised and so much more, the graduating class. Would the UW-Platteville faculty and staff stand and be honored today? Thank you. None of this would have been possible without this last group who has helped our graduates throughout their collegiate careers and indeed their entire lives. Would the family and friends of the May 2019 graduates please stand and be recognized? Now all please stand. Please stand. and turn to page 52 of your commencement program for the alma mater, led again by Benjamin Warren. Please be seated. The commencement ceremonies have been recorded and are available for on-demand viewing on the campus website. Please remain seated until the faculty has left the gymnasium. Once the faculty have reached their lobby, graduates are dismissed and can join their families and friends. The flags representing all the countries from which our students hail are displayed in the main lobby for pictures, as are college banners. This concludes our ceremony. Once again, congratulations to the University of Wisconsin-Platteville graduating class of May 2019. Please begin the recessional.